got it.
There you go.
All righty. Okay, let me get this organized here. As organized as I can get anyway. Share screen. We're going to share that one. All right. Am I sharing?
Yes.
Excellent. So a few people have asked about this. In all honesty, not a lot of people have asked about this. But that's kind of part of the problem. I want to spend a few minutes talking about social media in general, because I know, quite honestly, a lot of our members are not involved in social media at all. And so I'll lay a little groundwork, kind of a primer for those that don't do social media, so that the rest of the presentation makes sense to you, hopefully, because I want to talk specifically about how NCDXC is involved in social media and how we can do a better job and why we should bother. So let's talk about that. And for some, oh, there we go. Let's try that. That works. All right. So a little primer for everybody, first of all, because again, I know a lot of people aren't really heavily into social media. It drives everything these days in the business world, literally everything. Education, technology, medicine, and of course, social interaction for anybody under the age of 40. And every hobby is active on social media. Ham radio is very present. Obviously, organizations like the ARRL and Clublog and QRZ, they're all on the net, but they're all on social media too. They're all on Facebook, they're all on YouTube, they're all on Twitter, you name it. But as I mentioned, a lot of us over the age of 40, and especially people like me who are well over the age of 40, social media may not be something that a lot of us had much experience with. It kind of came along after we were already well into our jobs, and unless you happen to work in an industry where you had to deal with it, you may never have had to touch it at all. So for someone who hasn't really experienced it, the technology alone can just be annoying, if nothing else. But the good news is there's some standardization of the terms across the different platforms, and it's not as complicated as it sounds once you start looking at it in detail. So let's start with the way accounts work. No matter what the social media platform, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or what it is, you're going to have an account. And that account is going to have a feed, and we'll talk about feed more in a minute. Groups and businesses and organizations often have something that's well, on Facebook at least, they'll have something as a page. Users have accounts on Facebook. Organizations and businesses have pages. So our group, the NCDXC, we have a page on Facebook. On YouTube, everything is called a channel. It doesn't matter if you're an individual or a $10 billion corporation, your YouTube account is a channel. On Twitter, everything is an account and it has a feed. And LinkedIn is an account with a feed. So let's talk about what all of that means. The feed is basically what shows up on your account. When you log into whatever social media platform you're going to log into, what you see is your feed. It's basically what the system is feeding you to look at. And so the feed will be driven based on selections you've made, who your friends are, what interests you have, things like that, will dictate what shows up in your feed, will dictate what you see when you log in. It contains, obviously, the other people's responses and posts, anything they've put up, if they're somebody you care about or have linked to. If you're somebody you follow, and again, we'll talk about that in a minute. or if their post contains a hashtag or your username that you're interested in. Hashtags are basically search terms. And people hear the word hashtag all the time, and it doesn't mean a lot to most people, but it's basically just a way to search. Doesn't matter if you're on Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is. You use a hashtag to search for something you're interested in. So for instance, if I want to get on Facebook and search for everything that has ever been mentioned about the Northern California DX Club, I can go into the search bar in Facebook and search for # NCDXC. And I'll bring up everything that's ever been mentioned with that hashtag in it. And it could be about us, it could be about something else, because on Facebook, at least, we're not the only group using NCDXC. But you would definitely get everything about our club. And so the way that happens is when somebody posts, when they say, I'm going to go watch the NCDXC Zoom meeting tonight on Facebook, if they put a # in front of NCDXC, I'm going to go watch the # NCDXC Zoom meeting tonight, that gets treated as a search term. Facebook says, oh, that's got a # in front of it. People are going to want to search for that. So then when people search for # NCDXC, that post that I just made is going to be part of what they see. It's going to come up in the search results. Within each of these social media platforms, with some exception for YouTube that we'll talk about, there are concepts of friends, who you're following, who's following you. Do you like something? Are you going to share something? In Facebook, friends are people you literally say, I want you to be my friend on Facebook. You go to their page, you click on the request to be a friend link, and it sends them a note and says, hey, Frank wants to be your friend on Facebook. Is that okay? And you can say no, and they won't know if you say no. It doesn't tell them. But that's kind of unique to Facebook for the most part. Following is something that happens on all of the media platforms. If I want to follow something, it means I want to know when they do something new. I want to hear about it when they post to their YouTube channel or when they send a tweet or whatever it might be. I can go to their page, I can click on follow, and now I'll have everything that they do show up in my feed. We're back to feed again, right? Everything that they then do comes into my feed. When I go to my page, if they've posted something, I'll see it. Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, they all have the concept of a like. You can click something on the post that somebody made and say, I like this. But that's really all it is. You're just saying you like this. To young people, getting more likes is kind of the goal. If you're really into social media, you want to post stuff that people will like because it makes you feel needed, I guess. I don't know. I'm not young enough to understand. But, a lot of them are really focused on likes. They want as many likes as they can get. And sharing something on social media means if somebody else posted something, they wrote something, and post just means I wrote something and I hit return. I post something and you think it's pretty cool, so you want to share it. What does that mean? Okay, I post a cat cartoon and you think it's really funny. You want everybody that follows you to see it too. So you click share and then you hit return. And now that cat cartoon is on your feed and it's visible to everybody that is your friend or that is your follower. Now they see it too. And then there's the concept of subscribe, which is really a YouTube concept mostly. If I subscribe to another user's YouTube channel, then I'll get notified every time they post a new video. And we have a lot of subscribers on our YouTube channel. I'll talk about that as well. A lot of people get freaked out about the security on social media. They're afraid of what's going to be out there about them that they can't control. But security has become much better over the years. Facebook was very bad early on. It's pretty good now. You can set Facebook to exactly who you want to see anything that you put into it. So for example, I have my account set up for friends only. If it isn't somebody that I have clicked the button on saying I want to be your friend on Facebook, and they have clicked on their end to say, yes, you're my friend on Facebook, then nobody else is going to see my post, only my friends. There's also a setting called Friends of Friends. So if I post and I say I want this to be available to friends of friends, then obviously my friends will see it, and anybody they're friends with will see it. But that's as far as it'll go. And then the third option is public. And of course, a lot of people do everything public on Facebook, and everybody knows everything about them because all their posts are public. But I and most people I know stick to the friends only, maybe friends of friends on occasion. Now, all that said, the NCDXC page is public. It needs to be because everybody needs to be able to see it. There's a concept called tagging. And really what it is it's a reference to somebody else. All you have to do is use an @ sign followed by the person's username in your post, and then they will be notified that you've mentioned them when you sent something. For example, on Facebook, our name on Facebook, our username is NorCalDXC. So if anybody posts on Facebook and includes @ NorCalDXC anywhere in the post, it'll show up on our Facebook page, on the club's Facebook page, because it was referencing us. And that's the way people get references across from each other. You know, you trade references to get more notoriety. The more people that use NorCalDXC in their post, the more people will be able to see that that's coming from us, the more exposure we get. The whole idea behind social media is exposure. You want to be as public as possible if you're an organization like we are. Individuals, not so much. A lot of individuals like me want to stay private. But an organization wants to be as public as possible so we can attract more users, attract more visitors, and potentially attract more members to the club. And then let me quickly mention ads. Yes, there are definitely lots of ads on all of these platforms. To be fair, it's how they make money. That's the bottom line. If you are involved in this, you'll probably notice that the ads seem to be related to things that have been mentioned on your Facebook page, or that your friends have mentioned, or maybe things that you clicked on in Facebook somewhere. All of a sudden you see a bunch of ads that are related to whatever you clicked on. That's called target marketing. And it pretty much makes the economic world go round these days. We could do a whole separate session on target marketing. It's really kind of Big Brother, and it's pretty scary stuff, but it's the way life is these days. I do my best to try and ignore them, but that's not really easy to do because there's lots of ads. So let's talk about NCDXC social media specifically. We've been active on social media platforms for a little more than 4 years. Unfortunately, we have not had a lot of activity. The key to success on social media is activity. The more people post about you, the more people that watch your posts, the more interaction there is, the more hashtags for NCDXC, the more references for NorCal DXC, it ends up going to more and more people because your friends see it and they might forward it to other friends. And, you know, it's the whole friends of friends and public concept, right? This stuff mushrooms. It's like a pyramid scheme, basically. So the more activity you have on your account, the bigger audience you reach. And the whole idea of our club being on social media is to reach a bigger and bigger audience and attract more and more people into the world of DX. Unfortunately, we've been less than extremely successful. Let's talk about that. We have our own Facebook page. Our Facebook page address is there. You can see the URL, www.facebook.com/NorCalDX. And before you ask, NCDXC was already taken. So we couldn't have that one. There's another group with that acronym. But NorCal DXC works just fine. And we do still tend to use NCDXC in the posts because we all know what that means. And people look for that. It works as a good search term for us. But we currently have 161 followers. I checked that this morning. That's not very good. Activity is pretty much limited to postings by our social media manager when meeting notices are made. And by the way, the social media manager is me. So I'm pretty much the only one posting on the page. Anybody can post on the page. And it would be great if people would do that, if we would get more activity on the page. If you're on Facebook and you decide you want to post on our page, include the hashtag NCDXC, or # if you prefer. And feel free to mention our name in the post as well with the @ in front of it, @NorCalDXC, because that's how word gets out. That's how it gets spread, is with those search terms and those usernames. Twitter, we're less successful on Twitter than we are on Facebook. We have 48 followers. Not great. But as with Facebook, the only activity we have on here is when meeting announcements are posted. We would like to increase our visibility here as well. There's a lot of activity on Twitter in the ham world, but we're not taking advantage of it. Again, use the hashtags and use the handle. On Twitter, we did get the handle NCDXC, so you can use that on Twitter and it'll be us. We're also on LinkedIn. Not entirely sure why. We have a grand total of 16 people following us. LinkedIn is, for those of you that may not know, LinkedIn is a professional social media site for promoting your own career. People join LinkedIn to post what they're doing at work to everybody, not just the people they work with, so that people see what a great person they are and what a great worker they are. And really what it is it's a giant self-promoting job hunt. You post all about yourself on LinkedIn in hopes that somebody will pay you more than what you're getting now somewhere else. When we decided to break into social media in the first place, we decided we'd give LinkedIn a try as well. It hasn't been a terribly successful thing. It doesn't hurt anything for us to be there, but there's not really much activity there at all, and I don't think there ever really will be. YouTube, on the other hand, is our sweet spot. We have a YouTube channel where we post all of our videos. In fact, this one will end up being posted there, I'm sure. And we get a lot of attention on those videos. We also get a lot of people who decide to follow our channel. They subscribe to our channel, so they automatically get notified when we post new videos. We currently have 480 subscribers, and the number grows every week. The more we do this, the better it gets. To give you an idea of what kind of activity we get on that channel, John Portun's presentation on ugly balance has over 21,000 views. More than 21,000 people have watched that video. And Rob, AG6RK's JT Alert presentation has been seen by over 3,000 people. So it's a big deal. It is by far and away our most successful attempt at social media. The About area of our YouTube channel, which is an area you click on to read about who we are, has recently been updated. It points visitors to our webpage. It mentions our other social media accounts, and it's just generally a promotion of DX. The URL for our YouTube channel is at the bottom there in red, and you actually do need to use youtube.com/@NCDXC. I don't know why YouTube wants the @ in the middle of the URL or in front of the name in the URL, but for some reason they do. So that's the correct URL for our channel. You can also just search for NCDXC on YouTube in general, and you'll find it. But that is definitely one of our better, our best social media organization. What we would really like is for more members to become active on social media. If you're not already on social media, consider opening a Facebook account. It's pretty benign. Like I said, you can limit it to just people you're friends with. Security-wise, it's pretty safe. You can even use your call sign as your username. A lot of guys do. There's a lot of ham radio activity on Facebook. There's a lot of ham radio activity on Twitter. I have my Twitter account set up such that when I log a new country, an ATNO, in Club Log, it automatically sends a tweet on Twitter to say, I just worked this new entity, whoever it is. Pretty cool stuff. That being said, I won't make any more comments about Twitter because I know Elon Musk is making a lot of changes. And I think we all need to maybe wait a minute and see what all those changes are going to be, because I'm not sure what's going on over there. But there's always Facebook. Maybe Facebook is safer at the moment while we let Twitter settle down. But get an account open. Do Facebook, do Twitter, do whatever makes you comfortable. And when you work some interesting DX, post about it. Just a quick one-sentence thing in your account to let people know. And add some hashtags at the bottom, like NCDXC and DX and ham radio and amateur radio. These are all hashtags that other people use all the time when they post about these subjects. And by the way, you can make your own hashtag too. There's nothing magic about hashtags. It's just whatever words you type in after a pound sign. But these are ones that are used frequently. The more we post about DX, the more it'll get publicized on these social media channels, the more popular DX hunting will become. And for NCDXC, the more likely it is we could pick up a few members here and there. I do have one note here at the bottom that I want to mention. Instagram is also extremely popular, especially with younger people. And by younger, I mean maybe 30s, early 40s, and some younger than that as well. But it is more popular with the 30 and 40-year-olds than Facebook or Twitter. They've all kind of migrated towards Instagram these days. The majority of them have anyway. I am not active on Instagram. I understand basically how it works, but I'm not active. If anybody that's watching this would like to take on setting up an Instagram channel for NCDXC, I would be happy to help. We can make sure we coordinate it with our other social media channels. And we could really use somebody to spearhead that knows more about Instagram than I do. because that would be a really good one. That's a very popular social media channel. So I kind of blew through it earlier, but one of the things I did want to mention is, if you don't know already, and most of you probably do, there's a lot of activity on social media by other ham radio organizations. YouTube especially is popular, which is probably the reason we're getting so much activity. There's a lot of other people besides us talking about ham radio on YouTube. There are whole channels dedicated to it that are virtual. They're like TV shows. They do regular postings once a week or twice a week. Groups like ham radio. Oh shoot! Now I'm going to draw a blank on the name. Ham Radio Boot Camp. Ham Radio Boot Camp is a channel on Facebook, and it's not just for getting your license. They talk about all sorts of things. They do multiple postings a week, and they have some great stuff. There's a lot of others as well. So social media is a big deal. Of course, ARRL and other organizations like ARRL are active on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And they all do this because it works so well to attract people, to attract users, to attract members, to attract, to increase the visibility of our hobby and to get people interested in it. And so I would really be happy to help anybody that's interested. If you're not already on social media and you want to maybe take a shot at it, something simple, like I said, Facebook is probably the easiest. If you're willing to give it a shot and you need a little help getting started, reach out to me. I'd be happy to help. And let's get some discussions and some comments and some good stuff going on our social media pages, so we can increase the exposure of NCDXC and maybe gain some more members. And the nice thing is there's a lot of young people on social media. We might be able to pull in some youngsters if we do this, which would be nice. We all know the average age of the club is a little older than we'd like it to be. This is a good way to reach people that we'd like to have become younger members of the club. So at this point, I will be happy to take questions.
Well, actually, I have a comment, if I may, Frank.
Sure.
In support of YouTube videos and promoting membership with the NCDXC, I know at one point we had discussed, being the board of directors, discussed the possibility of recording an introduction video to be added to every one of our YouTube videos, introducing the Northern California DX Club. If you're interested, please visit our website, et cetera, et cetera. Just sort of a little hook to get people interested in checking our website and possibly joining. I'm more than willing to engage in this project, and if anybody wants to work with me, we can produce this video, get it up on the YouTube, and start getting a few more people interested in the club. And as a bonus, I'll even shave my beard.
That's quite an offer.
So let me know. Just hit me at president@ncdxc.org if you want to be part of this project. It's not going to take very long. I'll do the script writing. We just need somebody to do the video and the appropriate editing, and we should be good to go. It's a relatively simple project. We just need manpower. Any other questions for Frank?
Yeah, hey,
I
Frank,
just have a.
Oh, go ahead.
Scott's got the floor. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, just a general question, but I'm wondering how much success the club has had with using social media in the past. Have we gotten new members through any social media, or is it mostly existing members? Do we know?
Well, we don't know specifically. I mean, you never know necessarily if somebody saw us on Facebook and decided to apply for membership, but in general, I would say no, probably not. Maybe through the YouTube channel. We have had people who found us through YouTube. I know that. Whether any of them actually became members or not, I have no way to quantify it, unfortunately. But the biggest problem we have is we aren't getting very much exposure on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, because we just don't have any activity.
Sure. Well, the algorithms won't even look at you, although I think for most of those, so as you heard, saw in my text, I think probably Twitter is going to disappear and be irrelevant. Facebook is mostly older people, so that actually make it more members, because young people don't use Facebook; they use Instagram or TikTok, and I don't advise that.
Yeah, you notice I didn't mention TikTok. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any value in the club for TikTok.
I don't know. Tony might be able to dance or something. I don't know, sing and dance.
True,
but I can't. And new stuff is like Mastodon. But boy, yeah, it's a tough one. I'll just.
It is, and it's a numbers game. The thing with social media is you have to blast. You have to be constantly in people's faces to get attention, and you have to be at the top of the heap, so to speak. This is why even small companies, even little stores in downtown Los Gatos, will have somebody that is responsible for their social media, and that person will be posting to social media every day because that helps promote that store. None of us are going to do that, of course. I wouldn't expect any of us to for the club, but collectively, we could have a lot of activity on these channels. If each of us posted once in a while, we'd have a lot of activity, and that would increase our exposure considerably. What you said about Facebook is right. It is mostly older people. I know younger people on Facebook, but they're the minority, definitely.
They've been dragged by their parents.
Yeah, probably. There's still a fair amount of young people on Twitter. I don't agree that Twitter's going to die. I think it may change. I don't think it's going to die. I'm just not sure it's going to be as good when it's done. I do think there's value in Instagram as well, but Instagram is a different kind of media than Facebook or Twitter, and it would take somebody who's better at managing that type of media than I am.
Well, for another organization I worked with, we found that the people, not to say we're all old and whatever, but no one wants to see us on Instagram. So we had to recruit someone who was like in college.
Yeah.
And they do want to see, especially if you get a mix of men and women, and that's going to be hard.
I was going to mention that for that YouTube trailer Tony was talking about. Get some men and women in the picture.
And you want to see young ones because to get the effect that you want, unless it depends. What's the objective? Is the objective just for members? Then the real question is, do amateur operators use these technologies?
Well, yeah, they do.
Okay.
I mean, all you have to do is search ham radio on any of these platforms, and you'll pull up a lot of stuff, a lot of people, a lot of organizations. So yes, it's very popular.
So what we could do instead of just posting on ours is cross post to other ham radios. The ones that the YouTube people who are getting real hits, and KM4ACK, that guy. There are a bunch of them. If you start cross posting there and start referencing us and how wonderful we are, or whatever, hey, we know a lot about whatever he's talking about that day, and start a conversation that way, that works.
That's right. That's absolutely right. That's a good point. But we need people to do it.
Okay, Richard, you had something?
Yeah, I had a question for Frank. So if we're doing a posting on Facebook, we want to put in hashtag NorCalDXC, is that correct?
That will work. Hashtag NCDXC will also work.
And hashtag the NCDXC. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I use Facebook.
Good.
I use
Yeah.
Facebook.
And
And
like Scott said, if you're posting on some other ham radio page, some other group or whatever, mention us in that post as well, because that'll get linked back to us.
Okay, okay. Because I bought an IC 7300 a year ago to be able to operate on 6 meters, and I went to YouTube and I found a channel called it's called 7300 A to Z, and it's about 35 different YouTube sections on the different operating functions of the IC 7300. And I used the manual and I looked at the manual, and the manual doesn't really cover it, but when you watch some of these YouTube videos where they're going through explaining how all of the settings work on a 7300, and I'm sure it's the same way for other manufacturers of radios too. It really helps to clear up how to use these radios and how to make them specifically for the way that you want them to operate.
Sure.
Richard, I have the same experience with my Yaesu 101 MP. YouTube was invaluable.
It's huge. You can find anything on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay, anybody
And
else? I'm sorry, Frank, you had something?
Oh, no, I was just going to reiterate that if you're on YouTube watching one of these videos and you want to, thank the guy that posted the video, put a comment in and say, thanks, this is really going to help with my hunting for #DX, because I'm a member of #NCDXC. And that's all it takes.
Well,
Okay.
by that same token, Frank, if you get up on, say, Groups.io, hi, you post a message, you got a question or something. Hi, my name is so-and-so, my call sign, and I'm a member of the Northern California DX Club. Here's my question.
Sure.
Anywhere you can expose.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea, because the Groups.io is a really has a lot of different groups for whatever you're trying to do. I've found them for my ACOM. I found them for my both of my linears and my radio, and different pieces of software or hardware.
Well, it's
So,
almost a text version of YouTube.
yes, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions for Frank? Really? Everybody's got it nailed down, Frank.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing,
And stop recording.
and we'll stop the recording at this point as well.
Stop recording.
Thank you.